Okay, so let's try this last question. We have some trig equation and we're given some constraints. So the angle A is between 180 and 270. Let's try to use that hint. So 180 degrees is here and 270 is here, so it must be in this quadrant here. So we're talking about some trig ratio. We're dealing with cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is 13, adjacent over hypotenuse. And so we're going to draw a triangle, and the challenge to draw the triangle, in drawing the triangle, is do we draw it like this or do we draw it down like this? We never ever draw the line sideways like this. And the good hint is that the hypotenuse, so cosine theta or cosine A, is always adjacent over hypotenuse. Let's always keep the hypotenuse positive. That's a good rule to remember, that the hypotenuse is always positive. So this is 13. So clearly cosine A is equals to negative 12 over 13. This minus sign you can move up. It's fine. So if you move the adjacent, this is our A reference. You can always treat the reference angle like your A. The true A is all the way across like this, but the reference angle can be thought of as part of the triangle. The negative 12 would be here. And in the case of these trig equations, it's okay to have a negative length. We're talking about the position of the triangle. Negative being left, down being negative, up being positive, right being positive. So this example is good to remind you of the fact that the hypotenuse is always positive, and the fact that you always have to pay attention to the sign. So there we have it. We have an angle here. Cosine indeed is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we are able to take these numbers and somehow draw a proper picture and label it properly. So this is where we can simply figure out the third side using Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully memorize the Pythagorean triple 3, 4, 5. Similarly, 5, 12, 13 is very nice to memorize. C squared equals A squared plus B squared, so you'll know that this is a 5. Technically, because it's going down, remember that it's negative 5. It's below the x-axis. So 5, 12, 13 makes sense. So now that we drew the triangle properly, this right triangle, we can very easily find all the trig ratios, including cosine, sine, and even tan. And we know that tan is opposite over adjacent. So tan is opposite over adjacent, which is equals to negative 5 over negative 12. Two negatives cancel. So the answer is 5 over 12. And you can verify it. ASTC, in the third quadrant, we know that tan must be positive, and indeed it is. It's correct. Okay, it's your turn. Good luck.